everyone, Pam Gregory. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the second half of August and, of course, the total solar eclipse that we have coming up in Leo on the 21st. Now, just before we get to that, we might find that the 15th is quite an intense day where we have Venus at 17 of Cancer coming into a T-square with Pluto, 17 of Capricorn. They're both squaring Jupiter at 19 of Libra. So this is a repeating theme really through the months, and it can emphasize very intense feelings of control versus vulnerability in relationship. It can emphasize issues of finance, practical security versus emotional security. And it can also emphasize the excessive power, excessive Jupiter power, Pluto and Capricorn, of some of our leaders. And that's going to be feeding into the total solar eclipse because it's happening very close to it. So this is our big event. On the 21st of August at 11:30 a.m. Pacific and 7:30 p.m. UK time, we have the total solar eclipse, which is happening at 28 degrees 53 minutes, so virtually 29 degrees of Leo, and that is going to be falling right across America from west to east, from Oregon and exiting at South Carolina. And this is the first time in 99 years, since 1918, we have had a total solar eclipse falling across America in this way. So it's a big deal. It's a reboot. Think of how you reboot your computer, but the light is actually going to be cut from the sun to the earth. So there's a kind of juddering effect almost. So it's a really big fresh start. Think of this solar eclipse. It's a super big new moon, so it's a super big new beginning. It's a whole fresh start. So see where that falls in your chart, 28 degrees of Leo, because that is going to be the area of life where you're going to experience this big jump, this big reset. So visualize, meditate on what you would like that to be, because eclipses are incredibly powerful. Now, this one is the totality is going to last for 2 minutes 40 seconds, so it doesn't seem long, but the effect will be very great because we're well within the eclipse energy already, and the effect of this eclipse will last for at least 6 months, possibly several years, because it's so powerful. The greatest point of totality in America will be Kentucky, but really everyone in the world is going to feel this to some degree. Where the eclipse path falls, which is across America, is important because it is the area where the manifestations of the eclipse are most likely to happen. And if you look way back in history, that's been the case. Not only that, but I think Washington politics, Washington administration could be very much in the picture with this too. And the reason I say that is this eclipse is falling very tightly on the president's ascendant, the most important point in your chart, your identity, how you project yourself to the world. Also on his Mars, which for him is connected to legalities and constitutional affairs. And also he has the fixed star Regulus at that point. Now, because Regulus is a fixed star, which is known as the heart of the lion, and barely moves, we also have that eclipse conjunct Regulus in the heavens as well. It's barely moved since the president's birth. So this is very connected to leaders and kings. So this suggests that Washington politics will be very much in the frame at this time with a great deal of intensity. Now, astrology is never executionally predictive. That means in terms of the details, because we are all co-creating individually and collectively all the time, and therefore we can change the manifestation. But astrology is absolutely symbolically predictive. It is always on strategy. So I talk about the possibilities in great detail in my August newsletter. I have a monthly newsletter. I talk about the astrocartography of this eclipse, which countries are likely to come to prominence, as well as the US. I go into a lot of detail what was happening 19 years ago when we had an eclipse at almost the exact degree, what was happening in America, for instance, then. Can we learn something from that? And I also look at what was happening in America at the beginning of this eclipse series. Now, we have a series of eclipses happening in Leo and Aquarius. Started in February, running up until November 2018. So see what was happening for you in February, because that could set up a theme for this 18-month period. In the newsletter, I look at what was happening in America, and I think we can see a clear theme with what is building now. Way too much detail to go into in these videos, but if you'd like to subscribe, it's about $1 or £1 a month, so very good value because it's up to 6,000 words a time. Just go to my website, pamgregory.com. You can subscribe, and for this month I will give you the August newsletter free, so you can catch up on all the detail, and then your subscription would actually begin at the end of the month. So really worth taking a look at, because I just can't cover all of that in these videos. But it's interesting that the eclipse is at virtually 29 degrees of Leo, which of course is the critical degree of any sign. So this tends to bring up the shadow side, the less positive side of the sign. So for Leo, that would be any arrogance or lording it over others, or being overblown, or strong ego. We have to let that go. We have to let that kind of behaviour go to live the true heart of the lion, Leo. Live from heart energy. Live from love. That is the real message of that eclipse. A whole new beginning for us to live from love, which of course is the highest vibration. And that is emphasized not only because we have Sun, Moon, Mars, but also the North Node in Leo, but it's also part of this grand fire triangle, this equilateral triangle that has been running for a month or so, between Saturn at 21 of Sagittarius, Uranus at 28 of Aries, and the Sun, Moon, Mars and the North Node all gathering between 20 and 28 degrees of Leo as well. So this is enormously positive for us. If you have any planets between 21 and 28 degrees of the fire signs, you are very likely to feel this. It's a real inspiration, but it's also a quantum jump, because Uranus is exactly trine to this eclipse. So again, it isn't evolutionary, it's revolutionary in its quantum jump of our development. The eclipse is closest to the North Node, which is our collective future. In the lunar eclipse we had recently, that was conjunct the South Node, the past. This is very much emphasising our future direction. So it is really saying that collectively we have a huge opportunity here for a big new fresh start that starts with love. It comes from love, and that's what we really have to remember at this eclipse. So it's very powerful, it's very inspiring, and all of you will feel it, but particularly those of you who have planets between 21 and 28 degrees of the fire signs. Any eclipse, particularly a solar eclipse that is so strong as this, will accelerate your development. Eclipses are like wild cards. They can just jump you forward on your path of destiny. So, excuse me, unexpected events can occur, opportunities can come out of the blue, benefactors can suddenly arrive to support you. And if this is aspecting, if it's conjunct, the conjunctions are the strongest with eclipses, certainly within 4 degrees either way. If it's conjunct any planet of yours, particularly the Sun, your ascendant, or your ruling planet, then you will really feel the force of this, and you may be thrown into prominence very, very quickly. In addition to that, we have not only our grand trine in fire, we also have a cardinal grand cross happening, because we have the dwarf planet Eris at 23 of Aries, Uranus at 28 of Aries. We have Venus at 24 of Cancer, squaring Pluto at 17 of Capricorn, and squaring Jupiter at 20 of Libra. So it's a little bit of a wobbly grand cross, but it is a grand cross nevertheless. And this again emphasizes, it's happening at the solar eclipse, so it again emphasizes that intensity, and it's linked again to the power of governments and the inequality that is emerging more and more, I think, in the world, where we have very top-heavy governments, and more we're recognising that cannot continue, the inequality there cannot continue. We also have, at the solar eclipse, and in fact running right through this month, we have the dwarf planet Haumea, which is connected to the protection and regeneration of the Earth, opposing Eris, the spiritual warrior. We have Pluto exactly opposing Ceres, the asteroid connected to the Earth, and agriculture and natural resources. So these aspects, I believe, are going to make us much more conscious about the need to protect our Earth from exploitation and pollution. That's going to be a really strong theme through the next few years. How we can regenerate the Earth, how we can come together as a community to protect the Earth. Really, and that will be emphasised even more once Uranus enters Taurus in May 2018. But look to where Leo falls in your chart, 28 of Leo. This is going to be an area of new start for you. So again, already think of your new seed, your new beginning, what you want that to be, so you can focus, visualize, meditate on it. There's going to be a lot of action happening in Leo, but also in Aquarius. That axis, Leo Aquarius, in your chart are going to be the areas of life where activity and change are going to happen up until November 2018. So really, the wonderful thing about astrology is we can use it strategically to anticipate and therefore plan ahead with our meditations in terms of what we want our future reality to be, how we can maximize our potential in any moment. So this, I believe, is going to be a really amazing total solar eclipse and a big jump for us all, big jump for humanity. Because the Sabian symbol for this degree, 29 degrees of Leo, is a mermaid emerges from the ocean waves, ready for a rebirth in human form. Beautiful. That really suggests that quantum leap that we're going to experience. So God bless to you all. Huge amount happening, a lot continuing in September too. So check out my newsletter, and there's so much on my website that you can take a look at too in terms of video products as well. Have a wonderful total solar eclipse in Leo, and thank you so much for listening.